This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Hey, good morning. Welcome on to the First Alert Weather Breakdown, specifically our First Alert Weather Day weather breakdown here for the day today. Lots to check out. And first of all, we have a First Alert Weather Day in effect for today, mainly due to the extreme heat. Essentially, we picked up the temperatures, specifically the feels like temperatures, by about 5 degrees hotter than what it was to start out the week. But essentially, that's reached the threshold for an excessive heat warning, which we'll talk about here in just a little bit. But we're continuing to keep you First Alert mainly on the temperatures. It is 10:30 in the morning, mind you, and we're having feels like temperatures around 106 in Texarkana and 105 in Idabel. Wild already. 97 in Magnolia, meanwhile 96 at Shreveport, 94 into Natchitoches. On top of that, we are also tracking storms here for this afternoon. Now, I really want to emphasize this lots of times here to you that the First Alert Weather Day is not for the storms this afternoon. But I will say, though, these storms that we're expecting to see here this afternoon might carry a little more of a severe weather threat than what we're used to seeing, even for summer standards around here. We'll get into more on that in just a little bit. But first of all, let me stop and say hello. I'm meteorologist Evan Thomas, and thank you for joining the First Alert Weather Breakdown here for today at 10:30. Kind of a special edition, if you want to call it, at that, again, because we are exclusively just going over the First Alert Weather Day here for today. And because it's the First Alert Weather Day, we are also live streaming this on our Facebook page as well. I don't know why, but Facebook crowd always gives me the a little more excitement, a little more emphasis, a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? A little more juice, a little more excitement, so to speak, here for you guys. So we are live streaming our First Alert Weather Breakdown on our Facebook page as well, so feel free to stop there and leave a comment or question at this hour. I'm already seeing Lewis, who said you're watching, although you did say you're washing. You said you're washing from Texarkana. You are watching from Texarkana, and it felt like a hot oven yesterday. Well, yesterday was also, it turned out to be a First Alert Weather Day, believe it or not, as well as we had those toasty feels like temperatures yesterday afternoon. The same thing rolls on into today as well, so hopefully you can keep yourself cool and just stay indoors, please. Only go outside if you really, really have to. Tammy is watching from Nacogdoches. Hello, Tammy. Hopefully you're having a great day here for the day today. Again, we have excessive heat alerts out there, and we also have storms to deal with. So kind of a double whammy here for this afternoon, but I will say probably the best thing that you're going to look forward to, and it's probably the best statement I can give you here for the day today, is that once the storms hit you, you're in the clear from the heat. Once they hit you, period, you're in the clear from the heat. It's the best salvation, actually, here for the day today. Today's a day you actually probably want the storms around because it will save you from those absolutely brutal temperatures in the afternoon hours around the Arklatex here. So let's get into the rundown of what we're talking about here for the day today. I will go back periodically to our Facebook chat, I think once or twice during the forecast, but then I'm going to really exclusively answer all your questions here on Facebook after a quick commercial break. So I might stop to answer a question or two on Facebook during the whole large forecast. And again, I got a lot to talk about with excessive heat. I got excessive heat to talk about here for the day today. And then on top of that, I got all the storms to talk about. And I guess long term, which is what I should be discussing here in this full page for you, I'm talking about cooler temperatures on the way. So lots to discuss between the storms, the heat, and the cooler temperatures. All three of those things are on the way today. Again, your First Alert Weather Day today is, first of all, we haven't been under First Alert Weather Day in a while. Well, we were under one yesterday, but before yesterday, we haven't been under one for a while. And this is the first time this year we've been under a First Alert Weather Day due to extreme heat. So take that as you will, so to speak. We got more stormy afternoons coming up here, and then again, cooler weekend for you in store. So let's hop to the local forecast, shall we? Again, I promise I will answer any and all questions on Facebook in just a little bit. I will get to it. Same thing goes for our YouTube live stream. That's always been there. But if you're hanging tight on YouTube, feel free to leave your comment and question on that page as well. Let's start from the top. I'm getting my graphics here from the top. Make it drop to the bottom. There we go. Live look outside Shreveport. This has been the site all work week long. Beautiful sunshine, beautiful blue skies, except for yesterday afternoon. Yesterday afternoon is when we built in quite a number of storms, and some of that even went into the late night hours last night. Had a stray few storms even carrying on as late as midnight. That hit across Bossier, I believe, last night. So I'll be watching that. Out for that essentially again here for the day today. We'll actually take a live look at our current radar, see if we're seeing anything yet. I haven't checked it in the last 30 minutes, but I would not be surprised to see something on it. We'll see when we get to that point. Again, lots of graphics to go over between, again, the heat and the storms. Mattress Plus Skycam out in Shreveport. I actually meant to show you Texarkana. I know that's two looks of Shreveport there for you across downtown. Okay, there's your Texarkana camera, which has the same exact conditions here for the most part. The point is, we're rolling in with blue skies and sunshine. At least Shreveport and Bossier and Texarkana aren't seeing storms here for now. That's good. But this is our main issue. All of our heat alerts here for the day today. Now, to be fair, not the entire region is under an excessive heat warning here for the day today. The excessive heat warning mainly goes for those in the eastern half of the Arklatex. Mostly. We do have 2 of our northeast Texas counties technically covered by the excessive heat warning. That includes Cass and Bowie counties. All of our southwestern Arkansas coverage is under an excessive heat warning, and about 80% of our northwest Louisiana viewing area is as well, including Caddo and Bossier parishes, which includes Shreveport and Bossier. The only areas that aren't in Louisiana are DeSoto Parish and Sabine Parish as well, and a good amount of our East Texas counties. But y'all are still under a heat advisory here for today. So, yeah, I mean, it's not like you're drastically cooler than the rest of us, but you're not getting the tippy-top temperatures here for the day today. So, let's get one more look at the temperatures. We talked about the current feels like temperatures earlier. These are the actual temperatures here as of right now. 90 in Shreveport, 92 in Texarkana, 92 in Marshall, 86 in Natchitoches. You know the name of the game. It's only 10:30 right now, and we still have about 6 hours to continuously heat things up here for the day today. That's leading to these feels like temperatures. But I will say, notice the southern edge of the region there. 83 degrees in center is what it feels like. 87 in Nacogdoches, 86 in Florine. I would say significantly much cooler than the rest of us, around 96 in Shreveport, 99 in Marshall, and 99 also in Magnolia. The point is, those areas in the southern portion of the Arklatex have either been getting A, cloud cover, or B, storms in for this morning. I can confirm there has been storms across the southern edge of our northwest Louisiana parishes. That's including Sabine Parish and Natchitoches Parish. Most of that happened in the morning hours. So we kind of started off with some morning rain, which is kind of lingered off some moisture in the air, which is kind of limited us to how much we've warmed up here for the day today. Now, before I discuss anything else temperature-wise about how hot we're getting here for the day today, or talk more about the storms in store, let's go over what is our atmosphere doing? Why are we in the position we are in? And you can blame all things temperature-wise and the rain-wise on top of this cold front that is impending on top of the Arklatex here for us. There it is, setting up shop essentially across Oklahoma and northern Texas here for now. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and move away my camera here so you can see the full picture here. Essentially, we have this cold front again in place. This is moving off to the south. This is going to be hitting the Arklatex here tonight, bringing with it much cooler conditions. Much cooler conditions in store. We'll talk about how much in just a little bit. But essentially, again, this doesn't hit until tonight. Want to emphasize the word tonight. So, during the day, we are stuck with this immense amount of hot air, which is essentially trapped right in front of the cold front. Now, this gets a little underlooked when it comes to cold fronts period, because what happens is we funnel in a lot of hot air right immediately in front of cold fronts, and that's the position we're at here, essentially here for the day today. So we're piling on an incredible amount of heat, an incredible amount of humidity into the region here before the cold front strikes. again, which isn't going to happen until after today, basically tonight. 99 in Texarkana, 98 in Shreveport, 94 to Coshada, 99 in Mount Pleasant. Again, these are the actual highs here for today. The feels like temperatures here for the afternoon could be a different story. Those get up to as much as 115, I would say, in some remote areas around the Arklatex, given the fact that we're already at 106 in Texarkana currently. The point is, most of us, if not all of us, are going to have feel like temperatures above 100 degrees and well above 100 degrees here for this afternoon. Once we get into the afternoon, again, that's when the storms start to pop off. So if you notice, we usually have the peak of our heat, the peak of our temperatures around like 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the afternoon. That's not going to happen today. That's when the storms are flaring up. And again, as I said earlier, once the storms flare up, the temperatures are going to drop quickly. We're talking feels like temperatures down into the upper 90s, which is still hot, but it's not that, the sunshine. The sunshine's not absolutely bearing on you its immense weight here for this afternoon. And thank goodness, tomorrow afternoon, there's more storms, the more chance for more storms around. But it feels like temperatures only reach up to around the 100-degree mark. They don't reach up to 110, 115. So essentially, we're salvaging ourselves about 10 to 15 degrees here for the day today, or between today and tomorrow, I should say, which is great. And then, eventually, we are going to cool off even more into the weekend. There's some chances to where some of our weekend mornings could be down into the lower 70s. But essentially, again, this morning, especially for this afternoon, just make sure you take care of yourself, all right? I don't want anybody dealing with any heat exhaustion or any heat stroke, but essentially these are the symptoms that you'll be dealing with here for the afternoon hours. And keep in mind, because of how hot the temperature is, that means you get these kind of symptoms a little sooner rather than later, essentially. So, again, please drink some water, cool yourself down. You know the name of the game here. And obviously, take care of each other. If not, unfortunately, 911 is always a resource. All right, now that's enough about the heat. Let's get into the storm coverage here for the day today, because, again, we have a couple storms around. Or I should say, a good amount of storms around here for the day today. And for summer standards, I know most of our summer storms have just been pop-up, heavy downpours with lots of lightning and thunder, but it hasn't been much more than that. We haven't had a tornado risk with any storms, not much in terms of wind or hail. That changes today, at least just a little bit. I'll show you what I mean here in just a little bit. But essentially, this is a look on our first alert Doppler picture here. And I want to get a good look at what's our local radar showing here, which is actually a brief drizzle, it looks like, in areas of Ashdown. Hold up. Let me remove just 2 seconds here. There we go. It looks like maybe a brief light drizzle amongst some of this in here. Hold up. Let me get out my little pointer here. It's maybe a brief drizzle in here. But besides that, I think we're mostly getting some clear skies in for the northern end of the Arklatex. Southern end, looks like the same thing too, minus one tiny storm that appears to have just traveled over center here at this rate and continues to move southbound further into areas of Shelby County into the southern end right there. That's a very tiny cell there for you. But essentially, we have most of the storm coverage actually in areas of the southern end of the region. Lake Charles and Beaumont's gotten a lot of rain here from this morning. Areas even south of us towards the Alexandria DMA, right in central Louisiana. You can kind of see some of those storms just forming south of Natchitoches Parish. Now, all those storms are continuing to be fair. They are continuing to move southward. We also have a few storms in Oklahoma City, and not too much, but the point is these storms are moving off to our south and east. That's what's been giving us our chance of storms here later on today as well. That's going to be flared up, again, all thanks to the afternoon heat. So let's look at some future tracks here for us. Now, I have two different future tracks to look at because, well, not going to lie, they disagree with each other, and I'll show you how they disagree with each other in a little bit. But this is the latest future track here for this afternoon, where pop-up storms could happen anywhere around the Arklatex. Heavy downpours are likely. And not only does this start in the afternoon hours, but this could carry on for a good portion of the evening as well. Look at 8 p.m. We still have scattered showers. from somewhere in the ballpark from 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's going to be a little rough in for the afternoon hours, not going to lie to you, before most of these showers finally start to subside in the late night hours. Then for Friday, a little surprising on the graph. Let's see if it still shows. It looks like it shows only a few storms, a few isolated storms in for Friday afternoon. A less number of storms around here overall here for your Friday compared to Thursday, but it's still possible. And then for Saturday, watching out for a couple storms that could linger in our East Texas counties. But besides that, I think we should be mostly dry here for the weekend. Besides that little chance of storms in East Texas there on your Saturday. Keep in mind, that is one future track. Let's go into our other local future track, which shows still the formation of a number of storms here for the afternoon hours. Again, they pop up like popcorn kernels, essentially, into the late afternoon hours, and this continues through a good portion of the evening as well and could hit anywhere. Again, around the Arklatex. Some of these storms, even according to this future track, being carried over even into the late night hours before drying up in the overnight. Then could have a stray few showers around here for tomorrow morning before this future track has been popping off a few more numerous cells in for Friday afternoon than the other one. But overall, I think today is your rainy day if you're going to have one. A couple storms lingering into your Friday and a few less continuing into your Saturday. So let's go over to details, about the storms now. Slim marginal risk. That is in effect here for the day today, and I will say, as of about an hour ago, this got extended further southward and westward as well. On a normal, typical stormy afternoon in the summertime, we haven't had a severe risk at all, just so you know. So the fact that the Storm Prediction Center is now putting us under a marginal risk for essentially all of southwestern Arkansas, for most of our East Texas counties locally in the DMA, and a good portion of our northwest Louisiana parishes as well. That's a little cause for concern. Maybe not just a little more cause to be wary, essentially, about the wet weather and the storms here for this afternoon, because we're still going to have the heavy downpours. We're still going to have the lightning and thunder. This is put in there from the Storm Prediction Center because of strong winds. We're talking wind gusts that could be as high as 60 miles an hour, so if you have anything outside, might want to tie it down. Thankfully, no chance of tornadoes. I shouldn't see hail either, but I wouldn't say it's entirely out of the question, but I will say tornadoes is pretty much out of the question here for today. Just going to be dealing with some heavy downpours and some wind on top of that. And usually when you have the combo of both, that usually doesn't make for a fun drive home regardless. So still plan on some extra time again here for the day today. On top of that, you saw how long those storms lasted in for the afternoon hours. That could build up our flash flood risk here for this afternoon and this evening, and that could happen anywhere around the Arklatex. To be fair, it's only a slim marginal risk of flash flooding, but it still could happen theoretically. So let's get you the overview as to what will happen, and then we'll go over the weekend forecast and the 7-day forecast, and then we'll take a quick break and then go into your questions on Facebook. I will get to that in just a little bit. All right, so today, it's very hot and very stormy. Once it gets stormy, that's when the heat goes away, and that includes tomorrow. I shouldn't see a heat alert. Well, maybe a heat alert for tomorrow, but the point is we are dropping the temperatures a good bit in the next 2 days. The coolest day out of the next 7 is certainly going to be on Saturday, but we are overall cooler with the storms still around, lingering into Friday and Saturday. The most amount of storms and the most amount of heat are saved here for today alone on your first alert weather day. Then next Sunday and next week, that's looking hot, and that's mainly because we're building back in some sunshine in the Arklatex forest then. But, hey, for the weekend, much better than now. Not really a chance of rain. I think if you do see a chance of rain, it's going to be on Saturday, mostly across East Texas. But besides that, Sunday's looking completely dry. And on top of that, again, temperatures are certainly cooler. Not just in terms for actual temperatures. I know the projected high for today in Shreveport is 98 degrees. The high on Saturday in Shreveport is only 90. You would think, yes, that's at least a little bit of a drop in the temperature, even though it is still hot. But the feels like temperatures for the weekend, mid-90s. Mid-90s compared to 110 to 115 today, which is really going to be the salvation, I really think, for you. So to pan all that out in the 7-day forecast ahead, again, today's your first alert weather day due to incredible heat. Before the storms hit later on this late afternoon and evening, you're talking actual temperatures getting up to 98. You're talking feels like temperatures getting up to 110 to 115. And keep in mind, the actual temperature of Texarkana at last check was 106 now. So, yeah. Incredible heat here for the afternoon hours. That's going to spark those storms, though, that happen here for this afternoon, tomorrow afternoon especially. A few storms left for Saturday. And even a stray storm or two is possible, I will say, on a Monday or Tuesday of next week. But overall, most of next week and Sunday are looking pretty dry. We go from highs down to 90 here for Saturday, and then highs and the heat and humidity are going to crank back up to looks like 97 by the middle of next week there for your Wednesday. All right, I'm going to take a quick break. I got a drink of water. Hopefully that answered most of your questions, but if you have more, I will answer questions for specific towns, storm timing, heat, info, that kind of thing. I'll answer all those questions off of our Facebook and YouTube live streams after a quick commercial break. I'm just going to take a drink of water. Get my voice back. I'll be right back. Welcome back to the First Alert Weather Breakdown. Again, I'm meteorologist Evan Thomas, and thank you for joining us very much. If you have any questions, stick around because this is what I'm staying on stream for, just essentially to answer your questions only here for the day today. So I went over the full local forecast. In the background, I'm just going to go ahead and leave our current feels like temperatures up there, which continue to still be astounding to me even before 11 a.m. 106 in Texarkana. Hopefully you're doing all right. If you happen to be viewing from up there, let me know that you're doing okay. Again, those storms will help you out once they happen. Again, you might have to wait for a couple more hours, though, for it to come on in, though. So, yeah, but I can answer questions storm-wise, heat-wise. I don't see anything on our YouTube live stream, but let me get over to our Facebook stream. Renee says, watching from Wilton. Thank you very much for watching. Appreciate it very much. Lewis, temperatures are supposed to get back up to the upper 90s next week. Hopefully it is not this hot, though. We'll see. We'll see because, you know, sunshine is the name of the game around here, especially during summertime. When we get these brief little breaks with some afternoon storms, that's what can cool us off, but it's only if the storms are frequent enough. When we only have like a 0 to 20% chance of rain here for next week, that to me that doesn't say that we're cooling things off. Anytime it gets sunny during the summertime, you're going to be running up those temperatures. You're going to be running up those humidity levels as well, which it results in those feels like temperatures being so high, and that's probably going to continue into next week. I wouldn't say continue. Again, we have a brief break here for this weekend, but It's ugh. It's brief. It's a brief break. It's a rare break to be found, to be fair. You know, with high temperatures only reaching 90 degrees, being cooler than average, with a mostly dry day still in store around the Arclitex here for at least Saturday. High on Sundays, 92, 93, something like that, with the sunshine all around it plenty. But then we heat things up even more and more and more with the consecutive sunny days. And eventually we go back to being hotter above average, and those feels like temperatures and humidity levels are going to be way up there. So, good question, but yeah, I think the heat, the sunshine, the summerness, it's all returning next week, the summer temperatures. We're already up to 112. As I was literally talking, the feels like temperature dropped up. The feels like temperature climbed up to 112 in Texarkana, and still more time to heat things up yet again. Boy, Texarkana, 112 degrees for the feels like temperature currently. And yeah, as I said, it's going to continue to be on the rise. This is exactly why we have that excessive heat warning in effect currently. It's wild. Anyways, Alida, excuse me. You're watching for Vivian, Louisiana. Thank you very much for watching. Again, anyone around the Arclitex is likely to catch in on scattered storms here for this late afternoon and evening. Tammy says, thank you very much. You're welcome. That's what we're here for. That is what we're here for, especially on a first solar weather day. I know the first solar weather day, again, is due to heat and not storms, but when's the last time we've seen a severe weather risk? I can't really remember with the storms here, associated with the storms here today. So watch out for the afternoon storms being a little gusty, a little windy, and thankfully that gives us a break from the heat, but still got to deal with all that rain here for this afternoon, which could be problems during the afternoon commutes around, so watch out for that. All right, if none of y'all have any comments, which I don't see any more comments on our Facebook page or on our YouTube page, I'm going to go ahead and call it quits here for this stream. Thank you very much for watching. Our KSLA News 12 First Alert Weather Breakdown, just so you know, we do this every single weekday. We don't just do this on a First Alert Weather Day. For tomorrow, we will, what are we doing tomorrow? We're doing a weekend travel forecast here for you. We're just going, well, I wouldn't say just going over the weekend, but we're putting more of a specialty into your weekend forecast, specifically for those of you that are also traveling outside of the Arclitex here for this coming Saturday and Sunday. We'll go over more about the storms then as well. Hopefully we can all get through today before better days are ahead, at least for the short term. I'm mainly talking about the weekend. So anyways, thank you very much for watching First Alert Weather Breakdown. We'll be back here tomorrow. I will be back here tomorrow, Friday, 10:30. Be there. Be square. Most importantly, stay weather aware. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Again, First Alert Weather Day is intact. I will have your next weather update coming up in an hour on our noon show at KSLA News 12. Have a great rest of your day in the meantime, though, and see you tomorrow. Peace.